Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm Tammy Stackelhouse, fibromyalgia coach, author, and founder of the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. The goal of this podcast is to empower you with access to the dream team of experts and coaches I've discovered are key to living the fibro life you love. From the comfort of your own home, and maybe even your pajamas, I'll help you take back control of your life and health. To help out with fibro fog, I always include full show notes and additional resources at fibromyalgiapodcast.com. Welcome to the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stackelhouse. And this is episode 2 of our updated Be a Coach special series. In this series, I answer questions about our training programs, how our students cut their fibromyalgia symptoms in half in just 3 months, and about what it takes to be a certified fibromyalgia coach. Now, if you are not interested in these topics, absolutely skip this episode. You can skip the rest of the episodes when they come out in this series, but keep listening to our regular episodes every other week when they come out. Now, if you are curious, of course, this series is for you. One last thing before I begin. If you aren't sure what a certified fibromyalgia coach or a certified fibromyalgia advisor is, that is exactly what I covered in episode 1 of this special series. So just go back and check that out. And for those of you who want it all and want it yesterday, just go sign up to have the Be a Coach series delivered directly to your podcast app all at once. No need to wait 2 weeks between each episode. Just look in the show notes for this episode right here in your podcast app, and you'll find the link to sign up for the special series. Like I said, this means you won't have to wait 2 weeks for the next episode. You'll have access to all of the episodes in the series as soon as you sign up. You'll also get several bonus episodes, including a special one that gets updated for each class that'll have dates and other specifics. Now, on to today's episode. Today is all about the who. Who makes a good coach? Who makes a good certified fibromyalgia coach? And who makes a good certified fibromyalgia advisor? And how do you know which one you should be? I'll also share what I look for in the applications I accept into the training program, plus what you need and what you don't need to join us as a coach or an advisor. Let's start with what I look for when I'm interviewing student applicants and reviewing their applications. Honestly, it's pretty simple. I really only look for 2 main things. Number 1, I look for someone who truly has a heart to serve and help others. Number 2, I look for someone who cares about being correct. Someone who cares about having and giving correct information. Now let's dive into those 2 just a little bit deeper. Starting with the first one, someone who truly has a heart to serve and help others. So yes, it is possible to make good money as a coach, even as a fibro coach, but you honestly can't do it without truly serving people and caring deeply for them. The good foundation for any coach, it sounds a little hokey, but it's love. Yes, of course, there's skills in there too, and we'll talk about those in a minute, but without that love, without that deep caring for your clients, well, your clients can just feel it, right? As coaches, our job is to help our clients get what they want most. That could be healthy enough to help out with a first grandbaby, or having enough energy to travel, or being clear-headed enough to excel at the careers that they love. And in the end, it's all about our clients, and it's not about us at all. What is it that they want? What do they care about? And if you don't deeply care about them, well, what are you doing? The The other part of this is that coaching can also be a hard job. Unfortunately, not everyone wants to do the work to change their lives. It can be heartbreaking to have people that you know you can help decide that they don't want your help. And for every person who decides they don't want your help, you can remember all the people you did help and all the people you will help in the future. Your love and your care, especially for the people you haven't even met yet, is going to keep you moving forward. Let me tell you, that is exactly why I am right here talking to you now, because I care about you deeply. And I know that I can help you feel better, even though we haven't met yet. And that keeps me going. Now, number 2, as I said, the second thing I look for is someone who cares about being correct, someone who cares about having and giving correct information. Now, I'll say it again. We are not doctors. Coaches are not doctors, but we are educating people on their health. And in the case of a fibromyalgia coach, we are educating people about fibromyalgia. That means the information we share needs to be correct. It can't be almost right or close enough. Correct matters when you're talking about people's health. I actually do listen for clues for this when I'm interviewing potential students. You're the person who manages your nonprofit's finances? Great. You're someone who pays attention to the details. You know all your meds by name and the doses? Awesome. Those are those details again. You're precise about things that matter. You're a nurse, a teacher, a project manager, an engineer, the person who catches all the typos, right? Perfect. Those things clue me in that you are somebody that cares about the details and therefore will care about getting the information I teach you correct as you pass it on to your clients. Okay, I know what you're thinking. If those were the 2 things I look for, what about fibromyalgia? Do I look for people who have fibromyalgia? And the answer is kind of. To be honest, I get very few applications from people who don't have fibromyalgia themselves. You probably found me because you have fibromyalgia, right? Most people do. There is nothing like having someone who truly understands you because they've gone through it themselves. There's a whole extra level of understanding and caring there. But that doesn't mean that someone who doesn't have fibromyalgia can't be a great fibro coach. You might think about the doctors that you've had. You may have had doctors who haven't struggled with your particular problem, whether that's fibromyalgia or migraines or IBS or depression, but I bet you have had caring doctors who cared about you and got you good results, even if they didn't struggle with it themselves. Yes, there's an extra dimension of understanding and care when they have faced that themselves, but that doesn't mean that they can't help you. And it's the same thing with a fibromyalgia coach. So, of course, yes, you do have to have a certain level of understanding and compassion. And yes, of course, it helps to have walked that path yourself, but no, it's actually not necessary that you have fibromyalgia yourself to become a fibromyalgia coach. So if you don't need to have fibromyalgia, what else don't you need? Now, this may surprise you, but you do not need to have your fibromyalgia all figured out. Yes, you do need to be well enough to keep up with the class lectures, the homework assignments, to work with your clients. But the class itself is actually designed to help you get better. To quote one of my students, I really wasn't well enough to take the class, but if I hadn't taken the class, I wouldn't have gotten better. So remember, it's not about where you start, but it is about where you finish. And those are not the same things at all, right? You can start the training programs still with all your fibro flares, even in a fairly bad space, right? We have had clients who have really high levels of symptoms. And by the end of the class, I promise you will be better. Every single one of our students has improved during their 3-month class. The students who graduate from our Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor training are able to improve their fibromyalgia symptoms an average of about 50%. In other words, they cut their symptoms in half on average in just 3 months. So yes, you have to be well enough to begin. And 3 months from now, when you graduate, your fibromyalgia could be a whole lot better. And if you go on to take our Certified Fibromyalgia Coach class, those graduates tend to be nearly symptom-free with an average improvement of about 70% over where they started when they started the advisor class. To learn more about this and to hear in our students' own words about their experiences, I recommend checking out any of our Stories of Hope episodes. You can also sign up for our special Stories of Hope series to be sent directly to you with interviews with all of our students and graduates. Just look in the show notes for this episode right here in your podcast app. Just go look at the notes and you'll see the link to sign up for the free Stories of Hope series. So here's the thing. If you're going to help someone else, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be a little bit ahead of them. Now, when I first started as a coach in 2009, 15 years ago, I often sat in bed with my computer and my cell phone to do my coaching calls. I absolutely was not well enough to work a 40-hour job, and especially not well enough to do that at a regular office. But I was well enough to help someone else for an hour over the phone. I did not have to have everything figured out, and I didn't, but I had some things figured out. The more people I helped, the better I felt, the more I learned, both about myself, about fibromyalgia, and through working with my clients, they taught me things, and that led me to be able to help even more people like you. Trust me, if I had not started coaching from bed, you would not be hearing this podcast episode today. Do you know we have over 500,000 downloads of this podcast all over the world? There are well over 10,000 downloads of this podcast every single month. It's crazy. And yeah, we are here today because I started helping people by sitting in my bed with my phone and with my computer. Okay, you might be thinking, how do I know? How do I know if I'm well enough to take the class? And honestly, you are the only person who can decide that for sure. I will absolutely get into more details about how the class works in future episodes. But for now, I want you to know 2 things. First, these are fibro people taking the class, and it's fibro people teaching the class. I have specifically designed all of our training programs to be fibro-friendly, to be able to be completed by people with fibromyalgia. There are recordings you can watch or listen to as often as you want. And I even have built-in catch-up weeks that help you get caught back up if you've slipped behind. Because let's face it, fibro bodies do not always work according to the schedules that we set, right? I even make the class recordings available as a private podcast for students only. So you can listen to your classes just like you're listening to this right now. Honestly, you can't get much more convenient than that. And trust me, I get it. I have been there. I made this so you can do it. The second thing that I want you to know is that if you enroll in the program and for some reason you cannot complete it, There is a leave of absence option built right into the program agreement. Fibro happens. Life happens. It might not even be something in your own life, but somebody you have to take care of. If you need to take a leave of absence and come back at a future date, the option is already built in for you. So let's recap. When I'm interviewing students who are applying to join our training programs, I am looking for two things. Number one, I look for a heart of service and people who truly want to help others. Number two, I am looking for someone who understands the importance of paying attention to the details and someone who cares about giving correct information. Those are the two things I look for. And to recap what you don't need, you do not need to have your fibromyalgia in remission. You don't need to be pain-free. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't really even need to know anything about fibromyalgia because that's what I'm going to teach you. And alongside that, you also don't need to have any training of any kind before you start. You will learn everything you need to know in the Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor and Certified Fibromyalgia Coach training programs. So, what do you need then? Aside from paying attention to the correct information and wanting to help others, what do you need? And there are a few things that do certainly make it easier and a few things that are required. So first of all, you do have to be able to show up and be willing to do the work. The advisor program is designed to take about 5 to 6 hours of work each week, more or less depending on how much of a perfectionist you are, how quick you read, your levels of brain fog, how quickly you can go through the materials, but it is designed to take about 5 to 6 hours. This work can be done absolutely whenever it works best for you. You can do it from your bed or on the couch in your pajamas, on your back deck in the sunshine. It doesn't matter. You can break it up into small pieces. You can spread it out over time. There are even catch-up weeks if you get behind. The second thing that you need, if you want to help others with their fibromyalgia, you need knowledge of fibromyalgia and not just what works for you. If you're truly going to go out and help others, you need to have lots of tools and options available. You need all the info. Because remember, even though our symptoms look the same, what works for you may not work for everyone else. So you need all those other options. And these are provided in the 3-month Certified Fibromyalgia Advisor training program. In that class, I teach you everything I can about fibromyalgia in 3 months. Is it everything? Of course not. I could not teach everything in 3 months. But is it enough to help somebody else? Absolutely. And if you're wanting to coach fibromyalgia patients, this is number 3, by the way, if you're wanting to coach patients, especially if you want to have a business as a fibromyalgia coach, you need the training and the mentoring provided in the Certified Fibromyalgia Coach program. This is the only program where you can learn my fibromyalgia wellness framework and learn how to apply what you've learned in the advisor class to different people in different situations. I'll be honest, a lot of damage has been done by well-meaning coaches who didn't have the proper training for what they were trying to do. And I've seen the damage on both sides of this. So I've seen good coaches who were well-trained and really knew their stuff, but just didn't know fibromyalgia, give people bad advice that actually made their fibro worse. And I've also seen people who understood fibromyalgia, but didn't have the training and the knowledge to know how to coach someone, how to give that information, maybe crossing some lines into areas where we don't have license to practice, and have seen people get hurt that way as well. So you need the fibro information. We get that in the advisor class. And you need to know how to provide fibromyalgia coaching in a way that supports the clients and gets them good results. And these two things together combine to create my fibromyalgia wellness framework that I've been using for the last 20 years. Now, in our Certified Fibromyalgia Coach program, our students will complete a minimum of 100 coaching sessions working directly with fibromyalgia patients. All of this happens with instructor oversight, with my oversight. And during class, students use their real-life client situations to learn new information and skills. Every week, we meet and talk about their clients, what they're doing with their clients, questions their clients have had, and everybody learns from that. By the time they graduate, they will have completed over 370 hours of experience and training specifically in fibromyalgia. And remember, that term, Certified Fibromyalgia Coach, that is a registered trademark belonging to the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute. That means nobody can call themselves a certified fibromyalgia coach without completing IFCI's training, and no other coach is trained in my fibromyalgia wellness framework. Why is this so important? The Fibromyalgia Wellness Framework includes a unique style of coaching that I created. It blends fibro-specific health education with life coaching, health and wellness coaching, and peer support. When I talk about working with a coach, and when you go out to look for one to help you with your fibromyalgia, I want to be sure that you're getting the kind of coach I'm describing, that you're getting someone who can help you with this framework. That's why we protect that title, so only our graduates who are trained in the framework can use it. So that's it. You just need to love and want to serve people. You need to care about doing things properly. You don't need to have your fibro all figured out, but you do need training to ensure that you can help people in a way that isn't harmful. If you want the fibro knowledge but don't intend on coaching anyone, then the 3-month advisor program absolutely is enough for you, especially if you're just a patient wanting to feel better. The 3-month advisor class is great. But if you do want to coach others, you'll need the full coach program. Pretty simple, right? Now, I want you to take a second here. And if you can, close your eyes. If you're driving, of course, please don't. But close your eyes if you can for a second. And I want you to imagine that we are on some stairs in the dark, and we're trying to get to the top. Each one of us can only see a step or two at a time with our tiny little flashlights. Now, I'm further along the staircase. I'm above you. I can reach back, grab your hand, and help guide you up the stairs, even though you can't see them, because I've been there. I've seen them. And while I'm helping you up the stairs, you can reach back and you can help someone else. And that is what it's like to partner with me and the International Fibromyalgia Coaching Institute as an advisor or a coach. You are not alone, and you can help someone else to not feel alone too, even if you can only see a step or two and don't have it all figured out yet. The last thing I want to cover in this episode is who makes a good coach, who makes a good advisor, what's the difference between the two, and how do you know which one you're being called to? And some of this I've already covered, right? To be a good coach or an advisor, you really need to love the people that you're helping, and the details do matter. Beyond that, here are some of the skills that make a great coach. Number 1, be a good listener. Coaching, honestly, is not about giving people advice. It's more about asking good questions, listening with your intuition so you can ask even more good questions and help people find their own answers. Number 2, another skill is to be positive and be encouraging. A coach is often a cheerleader, a motivator, an encourager. We help our clients recognize and celebrate their successes, no matter how small. And we encourage them to keep going when they struggle, because we all struggle at some point. And I do want to be clear here that I am not advocating a kind of toxic positivity that's in denial of the hard things in life. Fibromyalgia is one of those hard things, right? There will be bad days. There will be flares. And as coaches, what we do is we get alongside our clients and we sit in the muck with them on those bad days because we've been there. We know what it feels like. We get it. So we listen and we support our clients. But then when our clients are ready, we help them work towards better days again. So we keep that positive focus for the future for our clients, even when they can't see it. We're like that lighthouse shining in the distance. Another great skill for coaches to have is someone who likes puzzles and problem solving. Now, I know, I told you to listen, right? But sometimes as a coach, our job is to listen and then put together the pieces of a puzzle. We actually talk to our clients more often, and for longer than their doctors do. That means we often get more of the puzzle pieces, right? We talk to them more, we hear more, we get more of the puzzle pieces. And sometimes that means we can see what might be going on. When a client is struggling, our jobs as their coach is to help them figure out why and what to do about it. This can also be hugely helpful for their providers. More than once, I've had the opportunity to talk to a client's doctor about what I've noticed as a coach that then helped the doctor be able to treat their patient. And this leads me to intuition. Coaching is both an art and a science. You need to know the science, right? The fibro treatments, the research studies, what different medications and body systems do, and all that good stuff. But you also need the art of it. And your intuition is a huge piece of this. What I provide you with is a framework. That's why I call it the Fibromyalgia Wellness Framework. And within that framework, there is a lot of space for your own intuition, for you to bring in your own strengths, your own style, your own expertise. And of course, last, if you are already a natural coach, this is for you. If you were the person that your friends always came to for advice or to talk through what was going on in their lives, you're probably already a coach. Let's face it. You just need to learn how to be a certified fibromyalgia coach. So what about an advisor? What about a certified fibromyalgia advisor? Who is right for that? If you are someone who wants to help at a nonprofit level, like maybe leading a support group or working with clients in a not-for-profit basis, you'll need the fibro knowledge provided in the advisor training, but you may not need the coach training. Like running a support group is not the same as coaching. It could be helpful, but it's not necessary. Same thing goes if you're a health writer or blogger or podcaster, YouTube videos. You might need the fibromyalgia knowledge, but you wouldn't necessarily need to know how to coach. You also wouldn't need the coach training if you're already a healthcare provider of some kind. Since there is so little taught about fibromyalgia in your training as you were training to be whatever kind of provider that you are, you might feel at a loss to help your fibromyalgia patients and clients effectively. We have had students who were nurses, massage therapists, counselors, and yes, I have even had doctors as clients. So if you plan on incorporating fibro knowledge into your existing practice, you will only need the advisor training. You don't need the coach training if you don't plan on coaching. And let me be real honest here. Fibromyalgia affects 1 in 13 women, 1 in 20 men. I guarantee no matter what work you do, whether you're a healthcare provider or you work in an office building in finances or something, you know people who have fibromyalgia. And being a fibro-informed practitioner is important because you're going to be running into that with the people that you work with. And of course, if you are a patient, if you just want to feel better, the advisor class is what you want. This is absolutely the best way I know to improve fibromyalgia symptoms. In just 3 months from now, your fibromyalgia symptoms could be cut in half. That's our average. So whether you want to be a certified fibromyalgia advisor or a certified fibromyalgia coach, the first step for everyone is the advisor class. This is where you learn all the fibro basics. We've got classes on pain, sleep, fatigue, brain fog, nutrition, exercise, alternative therapies, hormones. We cover everything from traditional Western medicine and pharmaceuticals to alternative and natural therapies, supplements, self-management practices, even mindset. I purposefully go ahead and keep these classes small because I want there to be plenty of time for questions and one-on-one support. The one thing I hear over and over from students is how much that support means to them. And we can only provide that level of support when we keep those classes small. We are enrolling students right now for our next class, which starts in just a few weeks. So if you want to feel better, this is a great way to improve your fibromyalgia. You could feel very different in just a few short months. And if you want to help others feel better, this is also your first stop. To be a fibro coach, you need to learn the fibro first, and that's the advisor class. Since this is the first step for both paths, just helping yourself or helping others, you can't go wrong starting with our advisor class. You can always reevaluate at the end of your advisor class on if you even need the coach class or if you've got everything you need. If you want to get more information or apply to join us, just go to beafibrocoach.com. That's B like the word B, B-E, afibrocoach.com. In the next episode of this special series, I want to cover the why. Why does the world even need people who are trained in our fibromyalgia wellness framework? Why should you consider becoming a certified fibromyalgia coach? I'll even cover some of the benefits of being a coach, such as why my fibromyalgia wouldn't be in remission today if I hadn't become a coach. We'll talk about that next time. And if you don't want to wait 2 weeks for that next episode to come out, remember, you can sign up for the Be a Coach series, to be delivered directly to your favorite podcast app. Once you sign up, you will immediately receive all of the episodes, including some bonuses, like a special episode that includes specific details about our next class, such as start dates and tuition. I also hold a virtual open house twice a year. Just look in the show notes for this episode in the app you're using right now, and you can click on the link for the virtual open house to register or watch the replay. See you back here next time. And that wraps up another episode of the Fibromyalgia Podcast. I'm your coach, Tammy Stacklehouse. For daily doses of hope, inspiration, and practical advice, come hang out with me on Facebook. Visit facebook.com/fibrocoach to find my personal coaching page and connect with me directly. To find the show notes, additional resources, or to schedule a consultation with me or one of my coaches, visit fibromyalgiapodcast.com.